Hi, I'm here with Justin Johnson. He's going to tell me about his diabetes. He has type 1. He's going to let me know what it's like living with that. All right. Can you tell me about your diabetes? What type you have and all that?
I have type 1 diabetes. I've been having diabetes since I was born. I was diagnosed with it.
At 18 months?
Yeah, at 18 months. Well, when they actually found out I was 18 months, but they actually diagnosed me with it earlier than that, but simply for the fact I was having problems, they just didn't catch it when I came out the hospital. They didn't catch it. It was like problems occurred later that they just found out. I went to 5 different hospitals before they found out because each hospital didn't know. So I finally went to Children's Hospital in Dallas where they did find out, and they was like, "Oh, he's been having diabetes since he was born. If one more day without insulin, he would have died." So I've been having it ever since I was born, but when they diagnosed me with it, I was 18 months.
Whenever you said problems, what were some symptoms?
My mama said that I cried a lot, I peed a lot, and was losing a lot of weight. I wouldn't gain weight. I just kept crying at times. First they just thought it was just, well, he's just a baby, so, you know what I'm saying, the baby just cried. But then it was more and more, I was just crying for no reason, and my mama said I was always thirsty, always using on myself. The signs of a diabetic, like if you urinating a lot, or you using on yourself a lot, just always in pain, that's a sign of diabetes. And so my mama finally took me to the hospital, and then they said no wrong, he's just a normal child. She took me to another one, and so far on and on, until we went to Children's, and then that's when they diagnosed me with it.
What was your childhood like having diabetes?
Man, actually it was, just to think back to when it was the saddest thing ever. Like every school I went to so many different schools in Dallas, and now one of them had another diabetic. I didn't know there was a such thing as another diabetic. I thought I was the only one out there. I felt so alone. Like just my family being the only one in my family with diabetes, being the only one in school with diabetes. Everywhere I go, the teachers didn't know what to do, and for me being a young child, trying to explain to them like, hey, something is wrong, and with me actually not even knowing what is wrong and not knowing what's going on, it was just the most scariest feeling I had to ever go through in my life, and it just felt so alone.
Did you have anything you mentioned, or what made you feel accepted?
I never felt accepted until I went to this small town. This doctor in my health, actually, he sent me to this camp called Camp Sweeney in Gainesville. When he sent me there, they taught me about my diabetes, and then I found out that there was other diabetics, because I never went to nowhere where it was another diabetic. Then when he sent me to this camp, and it took me for the longest, because I was so young, to understand that all the other people, the other campers, that they were diabetics as well. So I was like, I was going there and I was homesick because I'd never been away from my mama. I couldn't go with my uncles, I couldn't go with my other aunties. I could only stay with my mama simply for the fact nobody else knew how to handle my diabetes. So being without my mama for the first time, I was like, it was just a new experience. I cried every day because at the same time, I didn't know the other kids were diabetic, and it was thousands of them, maybe even millions of them. And to be honest, like it was so many of them, it was crazy. But I was too young to understand that they was diabetics. And so that first year, it was a horrible year because I cried every day because I wanted to go see my mom. You had to stay for 3 weeks. And then, so the next year, I had gained a little knowledge and realized everybody was diabetic there. And I was like, oh, all y'all diabetic. So, like, it is more of us that out here. And that's what they taught us there, that, like, how to do your shots. There are other people out there. You're not alone. Even though when you are on the way, you still have a home there, because like the people that you meet there, you meet them for a lifetime. You don't just make friends there, you make family. And so I actually have a brother from another mother, 2 brothers, actually, Joel Johnson and Robert Brooks, who I met there, who I'm still in contact with today from that camp. I've been going there, well, I was going there for 18 years, and it's a good experience.
How do you control your diabetes now?
Well, now it's actually better. Simply for the fact I'm older, wiser, I learned from my mistakes and the things that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I know how to maintain them now. Like, I'm on a carb ratio diet, so anything I eat, everything has carbs in it. So long as I measure out the carbs, weigh the carbs, and do my insulin for it, I could just correct it where I could eat. I can eat anything and everything. It ain't no such thing as like, oh, he can't eat this and he can't eat that. No, I can eat everything because I'm on a carb ratio diet. So it makes it so much easier, because when I was growing up, it was the hardest thing ever, because how you gonna tell a child no when they send all the other kids no eating candy and stuff? Like how can you explain to them like no you can't eat that candy? Like that's they don't comprehend that because I know I didn't comprehend that and it was just the hardest thing ever.
All right, and have you ever considered getting the insulin pump?
I did consider it one time, but it wasn't the right fit for me just for the fact at that time with the pump you actually have to be on a certain type of diet and I wasn't on that then. That was in my younger years and like if I had the chance now I probably would, but then simply for the fact I wouldn't simply for the fact that it's expensive. Like if you have insurance and everything, it's cool, yeah, because they'll pay for it. But if you don't, that it is the most expensive thing out there alone. Because just for a bottle of my insulin is $120, and so with the pump alone, you gotta keep all that in good shape and everything. Change the syringes, change the sites, and all that type of things. That's imagine the amount of money.
Yeah. And how many bottles of insulin do you go through? Like one a month, or
I go insulin alone. I go through one a month, but the Novolog, I have Novolog pens. I have to take two types of insulin. I have to take Lantus. The Lantus is what balances my body system throughout the whole day. I only have to take that one time. My Novolog, pens alone, like they give you 5 of them in a box that lasts you for a good while. But if you don't like carb-rich diet, you have to take insulin with everything that you eat. That's over like 2 carbs. So with everything over 2 carbs except for a bag of chips, I have to take a lot of insulin. So that could be like 2 boxes of 5.
Over the course of a month?
Yeah, over the course of a month.
Mm-hmm. And what would you advise someone who is just diagnosed with insulin-dependent diabetes to do?
To do?
Or what advice would you have for them?
The advice that I would have them is that your life is not over. Don't give up. I actually had a family member way down the line who he was way older than me. He was a grown man. Like especially if you get diagnosed when you're older. I feel your pain and I'm so sorry for you. But please don't give up. Simply for the fact that your life is not over. It's just beginning. It's a new things you gotta adapt to. But that's the life for you. You gotta adapt. You gotta live and learn and adapt to everything. Because a lot of people, especially like my cousin, he was so old that when he got diabetes, he was so used to things, used to his ways and his habits that he didn't want to change. So they had to cut off both his legs and his arm, and he finally died. And I was like, if he would just simply took the shots and just did the diet at that time, he would have been all right. But a lot of people, they just so used to the way they already living that they just don't care anymore. They were like, no, I'm not going to change the way I already been going for years. Because it's not even no major change. It's just a small little thing. Just take your insulin. Take your insulin and get that done. You'll feel so much better. Trust me, because if you don't, you're going to go through a lot of pain. A lot of pain that you shouldn't even and don't even want to go through. Go through some things that you couldn't even imagine. Tubes going through your body and everything. The most scariest thing that you will ever face in your life. Yeah. So, and my advice would be just don't give up. His ways, reach out there. You wouldn't believe how many resources there is for like to help people with diabetes. It's not no big thing. It's just as simple as going on a diet.
All right, thank you. All right, how did you feel when you found out you had diabetes?
I was shocked. I didn't really care though,
Why?
because it didn't seem serious.
Can you give me an example of a day in your life now, like with your medications that you have to take? Do you have any other
I get up in the mornings. I have to wake myself up as far as my body so it won't hurt. I go and take my medicine. Sometimes if I feel sick, I eat something. But then sometimes when I eat, I still get sick. Then I go to school. I have to eat something for lunch. I have to make myself eat because I'm never hungry in the daytimes. That's why I don't eat breakfast and lunch, even though I'm supposed to. Then I come home. I'm usually starving by this time, so I fix something to eat. And then I have to take more medicine.
How are your moods when you're hungry? Like when your sugar might be low?
When my sugar's low, I forget where I'm at or what I'm doing. I feel like I'm about to pass out. If I move, I'm going to pass out.
What about if it's high?
If it's high, I feel like it's like a pressure on my body.
How would you describe having a job and having diabetes?
It's hard.
Why?
Because well, for me, I'm tired all the time because of my other illnesses. So it makes it hard to work because you can't stand up for long hours because you're tired or your sugar's low, or you have to go get a snack, or you have to check your blood sugar because I check mine 7 times a day.
What's a good blood sugar level for you?
80 through 120.